This video is sponsored by SheepIt Render Farm. Get your projects rendered faster for free by going to sheepit-renderfarm.com. No, I'm serious. SheepIt is a quote free distributed render farm for Blender, which just means that your frame is going to send up to various computers all over the world in order to get your projects rendered a lot faster. Let's take a look at what projects are rendering here. This is a lot more backlog than normal, but you see, for example, this project, which is done by a really long-time user, has 125 people rendering it at the current time, which is from 9,000 frames. SheepIt is best with weak projects that use a lot of animation, like large amounts of frames. Okay, let's get this out of the way. SheepIt is a distributed rendering platform, so you have to give before you can take. People don't really like people who just submit their projects onto the website and just don't give anything back in return. But the good thing about that is that getting started with the rendering is pretty easy. Just go to this tab and just download either the Java applet or the Windows application. Both are really easy to get going. I already have it up here, and you can just double click on it. It won't even ask for your administrator password. So it's going to extract itself and it's going to start rendering right away. You click that and it goes down to your taskbar, not intrusively. But you know, it doesn't quite adapt to your usage patterns, so you might reduce a lot of slowdown when it's running, so I'm going to quit it for now. So how do you send in a project? Go to simple. After you log in, go to the projects tab, then add your project. I am going to add something I just did for this. It's called Q12. Now, SheepIt is based on points. They don't really cap the amount that you can send into the render farm. Otherwise, like, you can only have 2 projects rendering at the same time. But the less points it gobbles up your points, and the lesser points you have, the slower your project is going to render. So try to gobble as much as points as you can, and as I told you, you can do this by rendering stuff for other people. That gives you a lot of points. So I check all these settings. Now, unfortunately, I don't see any of the path separation programs that has been presented in Remington's video. You only have the split frames, and you have to keep the files pretty small, otherwise it's just not going to work. Alright, so here's my project and a farm, and we're going to wait until it goes again, usually gets finished, and then I'm going to come back here and show you what it looks like when the project is finished. So here I am. The rendering has started. I have rendered a few, as you can see on my client here. This is a real life project, like 4 seconds on the standard computer that they use for all the speed measurements, and everyone is finishing. Not only me rendering, but like tens, I believe 20 of people are rendering this at the same time as me doing it. And you can check my rendering statistics. You can see that it will not go anywhere at first, but then it will take off really fast. This is how rendering generally works. So do not be surprised if your project doesn't start immediately. This happens especially with people with low points. And it's going to expression another slowdown when it's finishing the last frames and getting rid of all the people who have shut down the client without telling anyone. And that always happens with small projects like this. We give it a plain text list, and here we go. And this is a really easy peasy project for mine, so I did a lot of the frames. But a lot of people with really strong CPUs are going to beat me in a while. And you can see we're really finishing up with the frames here. That is really fast. Alright, I'm going to come back a little bit later and see what it looks like when it's all finished. So this is what I mean by the last few long frames. So after going out the quadratic graph, it finishes really slow. And if you go back to the stats page, yeah, there are 3 frames stuck on. That's why people who somehow took like 6 minutes to complete a frame, and these guys are running really good rigs. And if somehow something bugged along the way and SheepIt didn't get their frames, you can't stop that from happening, and you're going to have to wait around 2 hours before it will give the frame to someone else, basically. So we'll just come back when it finishes. It will send an email to me when that happens. So stay tuned. It is done. Hopefully, it only took like 30 minutes. Alright, so here's how it felt. Storage used on their server, how many points it spent. This render took 13 minutes to be done. They say it will take everyone a culminated 39 minutes, but don't trust that. I actually did the calculation myself, and with this computer I can get this thing done in like 9 minutes. But that's with a computer that's faster than the standard. For example, my older computer, which actually had a graphics card, is about half the standard. It will do this frame in about 27 minutes. So it will be a speed up, especially if you have really intense cycle scenes. This is actually just Blender internal. I can just easily do it on my own. But here we are, and you can download all the frames here if you want it in full quality. They also automatically rendered as a video. Here are the deletion options, and it also gives it a thumbnail so it can quickly preview a video. That's the end of my review on SheepIt renderfarm. Now note that the service has gotten pretty popular these days, and they have to do a lot of provisions to make the service running, and sometimes you might see a few slowdowns, or the scheduler may be overloaded or completely overthrown, at which point you will see a huge surge of support requests going to in the forums saying like, why am I not rendering my project, or something like that. And I really want them to add new project here to this profile page, but apparently they did not like doing that. So thanks for watching this video on Dorothy Kitty, and we'll see you again next time. Have a nice flight!